गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So last time I think we did 4 verses, right? Fifth also we did. Fifth, till 5 we did.
We completed 10th verse. 10th verse.
10th was also over.
Yeah, 10th also we completed last time.
Okay. Now 12th verse. Sarvatvam.
11th we need to start now. You know what I ate now, because of which I'm coughing so much? As well, we should never believe these chilies. The chili now, it was so light green. I thought I can eat that. Oh my god. That's why kahavat is that. Kahavat pe mat jao. It was so light. I thought I can just taste it. Oh, it was like more than even dark green. Still, that tika is not going into the mouth. Yadaksharam veda vido vadan, yadaksharam veda vido vadanti, vishanti yat yatayo vitaragah, yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti, tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti, vishanti yat yatayo vitaragah, yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti, tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. So now Krishna is identifying himself in different aspects. Now let us see. Because we have to remember Krishna at every time. That is what Krishna says. You have to remember me at the time of death. It can only happen when we remember Krishna at every walk of our life. So those who are learning the Vedas, Veda Vidaha Vadanti, how they are remembering Krishna? By chanting Om, Aksharam. When they are chanting Om, actually they are referring to Krishna only. Sometimes you think Om refers to Lord Shiva. Even Lord Shiva is also chanting Om. It means to whom he is chanting? He is chanting Krishna's name only. Na? So, Yad Aksharam Veda Vidaha Vadanti. Then Vishanti Yad Yatayo Vitaragaha. Now, in the renounced order, there are great sages in the renounced order. They also want to enter Brahman. That time also they are also chanting. They are also chanting Om. The people will go on longer and longer. Om. They just see that how long we can chant. But how much you can remember Krishna, that is more important. Generally, in the pranayam and all, they chant long. I was called for Patanjali Yoga System. They told me to give class. 2-3 sessions I gave. At the time, they used to call. They used to chant long. Om. And then I told, meditate upon Krishna. They did not come out of me of the meditation. I told, I have to go to class now. So when they are chanting, actually, they should remember Krishna. Yadi chanto brahmacharyam charanti. Even a person who wants to become a very wonderful brahmachari, he also chants Om. So now Krishna says, Tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. Pravakshe means I'm going to teach you. I shall now brief. I shall now brief. What is it? What is it? The word? There I think some spelling mistake is there. Briefly, no, it should be. It is something, some spelling mistake. Briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So, how to even chant Om? For that also there is a system. Krishna told, I am going to teach you the yoga system. Now, in the 12th verse, Krishna says, how to chant 12th and 13th. To chant Om, you cannot chant anywhere and everywhere. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can chant anywhere and everywhere. But Om, for that, you have to sit down. You have to detach from all the sensual engagements. You have to close all the doors of the senses. Fix your mind to the heart. And you have to raise the pranamayu up like a whole. Then one establishes himself in yoga. Then only he can chant. You cannot just take your japmala and there's a Om, 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 Om. You cannot do that. For chanting Om, there is a process. Okay, Vijit Prabhu, read the 11th one.
Hare Krishna. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yadyataye vitaragaha yadi ichchato brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. Translation: persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Purport: Lord Krishna has recommended to Arjuna the practice of Satchakra Yoga, in which one places the air of life between the eyebrows, taking for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice Satchakra Yoga. The Lord explains the process in the following verses. The Lord says that Brahman, although one without a second, has various manifestations and features, especially for the impersonalist. The Akshara or Omkara, the syllable Om, is identical with Brahman. Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize two of Brahman's features. The practice is very essential for the student's advancement in spiritual life. But at the moment, such brahmachari, unmarried celibate life is not at all possible. The social construction of the old world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one's practicing celibacy from the beginning of student life. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where students can be educated in the brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to the spiritual injunctions of this age of Kali, that in this age no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणान् आस्थितो योगधारणा सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य. You have to close all the doors of the body. That means stop all the activities first. Sit down. Sit down. First close all the sensual engagements. Control the mind. Control the mind. How? Niruddha, by fixing it. Murdhni, fix it on the top of the head. That means the pranavayus, that is the pranam. One has to fix, one has to concentrate on the prana vayu from the top of the head. And in this way, he is yoga dharanam. He becomes fixed in yoga. That means he has to completely focus He has to practice the breathing techniques. He should know how to take the prana vayus on the head and completely focus with one pointed attention. It's not so easy. It's not so easy. Sri Krishna said, this is the only process by which you can remember me. See, that is how. Then Krishna says in the next verse, Om ityekaksharam brahma viharan mamanusmaran yah prayati satyajaddehan yah prayati tejandeham sayati paramam gatim. Then by doing that, chant you Om. And when we are chanting Om, we say Om. That is how the prana vayus go on the head. And you're completely focusing. Vyaharan mamanusmaran. When you're doing that, you have to remember me. If you do that, and especially when quitting the body, if you do this, take the pranavayu on the top and then remember Krishna, yaha sayati paramam gatim, you will attain me. Krishna says. For that, you have to remember me. So you'll reach the spiritual planets. It's not necessary that a yogi has to perform activities. Now he's not into activities. He may attain Brahma Jyoti also. It's up to him how much personal relationship he wants to have with Krishna. In the yoga abhyas also, if he is only thinking about serving Krishna, he can attain the dhama where he can serve Krishna. But if he is just into concentrating on the body of Lord, but still the personal feelings are not there, just Brahman, though they are non-different. Brahman, Om, Krishna, everybody are non-different. What is your desire? You want to just be fixed on only chanting and then you don't have any personal activity involved, then Krishna does give such type of liberation. But if you want to perform activities, you want to serve him, Chandan Gisai karo, ye karo, wo karo, so many activities, accordingly he gets. The activities in devotional service is according to the desire what he has, simple. As a desire, he will get. If he doesn't have desire, then what you can? You cannot do anything with that. Okay. Both the verses, Sonal, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, text number 12. सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्या आधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम्. Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Purport. To practice yoga as suggested here, one first has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. This practice is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. The sense organs for acquiring knowledge, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch, should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in self gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the super soul in the heart and the life force is raised to the top of the head. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in detail. But as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. Text number 13. Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran yah prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. Translation. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Purport. It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman, and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, which is Golok Vrindavan. For the personalities, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyotir. Hare Krishna. Thank
Now, what is his mood towards Krishna? Whether Aishwarya Bhava, Madhurya Bhava, what is the mood? Not so easy even to understand sweetness of Krishna. As a sadhaka, we are only eligible to go till Vaikuntha. That too, if that qualification is there. Brahma Jyoti, anyhow, no devotee wants that. Better is come to the earthly planet and perform devotional service. And the Brahma Jyoti, he loses his own identification. He just wants to be merged in Brahman. So better is come back again in this material world or any of the world, any of the 14 planetary systems and perform devotional service. That is better. Yes, Vaikuntha is anchored. But then again in the Vaikuntha, if there is no service, what is the use? So that is how Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu speaks about it. Right? Then, how to attain him now? Ananyachetah satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nityuktasya yoginah. Ananyachetah satatam. To remember him, chetah satatam. The consciousness should be completely in him without any deviation of the mind. Ananya chetah satatam. Yo mam smarati nityashah. Always remember me without any deviation. Tasyaham sulabha partha. It's so easy. Krishna says one way is okay, you chant Om and then try to remember me. Another is just easily you always can remember me. That is more easy, sulabha. Nitya yuktaha yogina. In this way, be engaged in devotional service. In one place, Krishna says, close all the doors of sensual enjoyment. For a devotee, if he is engaged in devotional service, he has already closed all the doors. At the same time, he has opened all the doors to serve Krishna. This is known as Yukta Vairagi. Krishna teaches about Yukta Vairagi. We are not interested in Falgu Vairagi. Yukta Vairagi means connect, at the same time be detached. Yatharham upayunjataha. Be connected with Krishna. Anasaktasya Vishyan Yatharham upayunjataha. For his sake, engage all the senses. Or else devotee has no interest in his enjoyment. Okay? Anupama, read.
अनन्यचेता सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभं पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिना. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Purport. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Previous verses have mentioned four different kinds of devotees: the distressed, the inquisitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosophers. Different processes of liberation have also been described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. The principles of these yoga systems have some bhakti added, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga without any mixture of jnana, karma, or hatha. As indicated by the word Ananya Cheta, in pure Bhakti Yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he seek oneness with the Brahmajyoti or salvation or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkama. which means he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. Whereas a jnana yogi, karma yogi, or hatha yogi has his own selfish interests. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to him, he is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. Krishna has various plenary expansions and incarnations, such as Rama and Nrsimha. And a devotee can choose to fix his mind in loving service to any of these transcendental forms of Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioners of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, he is especially inclined toward those who always serve him without deviation. The Lord helps such devotees in various ways, as stated in the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 1.2.23. Yam evaisa vrunute tena labhyas, tasyaisa atma vrunute tanum swam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, the Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain him in his spiritual kingdom. The special qualification of the pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say that the devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavana or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavana by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavana. As indicated by the words Satatam and Nityasa, which mean always, regularly, or every day, a pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of the pure devotee for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti Yogis are engaged in 5 different ways. First, Shanta Bhakta, engaged in devotional service in neutrality. Second, Dasya Bhakta, engaged in devotional service as servant. Sakhya Bhakta, engaged as friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as parent. And 5, Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord. And so for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. And similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessing of Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Next. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् प्राप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गतिम् परमां गतः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म. A devotee, when he reaches to me, upetya, once he achieves me, again in this punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam, this is the dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That is how Krishna has defined this material world. It is dukkhalayam, it is ashashvatam, but he need not come back here. Apnuvanti mahatmana. Mahatmas need not attain again because they have attained that some siddhim. Some refers to Lord. Siddhim, that is a real perfection. Attaining Lord is real perfection. Paramam gataha. So he has attained the ultimate goal. So he doesn't have to come again in this birth and death cycle. So even if he comes also, what is he doing? he performs devotional service. A devotee is not afraid of coming back. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikshashtakam, he says, Punarapi Janana Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatat Bhakti Rahiti. In every Janma, O Lord, give me ahaituki bhakti, unmotivated and deviated devotional service. But Krishna tells here, for a devotee, the real achievement is achieving me. That is the real perfection. So even if he has to come back also, he is ready to come back. But the real perfection is he is remembering Krishna. Kulashekar Alvar in Mukundamala, he says, in every lifetime, let me remember you, O Lord. That means the acharyas are not afraid of taking birth. But their only prayer is just we want to remember you. So then he is not in this entanglement of birth and death cycle because a devotee always lives. He never dies. A dead person is one who is not a devotee, who is not interested in devotional service. So even though he is living, he is a dead person, a moving dead body, because he is not interested in devotional service. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japatapa Pranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, there is no bhakti at all. But he has the pride of taking birth in a very wonderful family, Jati, Shastra, Japa, Tapa. But very clearly it is said, Apranasya Dehasya, there is no prana only. Prana is in remembering Krishna. Pranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. The dead bodies are also decorated before taking to the sanskaras, antim sanskaras. So in the same way here we said, one, this is dukkhalama shashvatam. In this there is no hope. But one thing, yes, always remember. Mamupetya punarjanma. Then he doesn't have to worry about his next birth also. What type of birth he will have? Birth in devotee's family only. Okay. Next verse also I'll take. Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So Brahma Bhuvana Loka, from the Brahma's Loka to the lower planetary system, they all are having repeated birth and death only. Punaravartino Arjuna, again rotation only happens. Mamu Pete to Konte, but whoever reaches to me will never take birth again. Okay. Gaurang, read 2 verses.
मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात् सिद्धिं paramam gata. Translation. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. Since this temporary material world is full of miseries, of birth, old age, disease and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta, Anakshara, and Paramagati. The planet is beyond our material vision, and it is inexplicable, but is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas. Receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees, and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness, and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. Abrahma bhavana loka punar avartinorjuna malupetya tukam. Translation. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, All are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. All kinds of yogis, karma, gnana, hatha, etc., eventually have to attain devotional perfection, Bhakti Yoga, or Krishna consciousness, before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, and Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice, called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladev Vidyabhushana in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita quotes this verse, Brahmanasaha te sarve samprapte pratisanchare prasyante pratatmana. The devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires. Hare Krishna.
सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यत् ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिव सहस्रान्तान् देहोरात्र विदो जनाः. Now for human calculation, what is one day of Brahma? 1000 yuga cycles. 1000 yuga cycles. That is 1000 multiplied by 43,20,000 years is one day. And same is one night. Yuga Sahasrantam. So that is huge. Let's say 43,20,000 is one yuga cycle. Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar and Kali. Like that, thousand cycles. Same is night. Okay. We had calculated all these things in the beginning of the 4th chapter. Okay. Rajit Prabhu, read. Or if Chandrapati Prabhu is available, he can read. Chandrapati Prabhu, can you read? The mobile is on. Okay, next verse he can. Chandrapati Prabhu can read or?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, read. 17.
Text 17, right?
Yeah.
Sahasrayuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of thousand cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 17,28,000. In Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 12,96,000 years. In Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in the virtue and religion. Vice increases, and this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5000 years. There is abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice. True virtue being practically non existent. And this yuga lasts 4,32,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord Himself appears as the Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satyuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These four yugas rotating 1,000 times comprise one day of Brahma, the creator god, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculation total to 311 trillion and 40 million earth years. By this calculation, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as lightning flash. In the casual ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles. In the Atlantic, Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death, according to the law of material nature. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Next verse. Avyaktaad vyaktah sarvah prabhavan tiharagame रात्रागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैव व्यक्तसंज्ञके. So Avyakta, the living entities were unmanifest before. They were all in the stomach of Lord only, no? Narayana, Ayana, sleeping there. Then the beginning of day, everything got manifested. Prabhavanti, beginning of the day of Brahma. Ah Agame, then Ratri Agame, again at the night. Praliyante, everything is annihilated. Tatra eva avyaktaha samyake. In this way, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. This goes on. Now let us see. Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. Ratragame vashartha prabhavatyah. So again this happens. Bhutagrama, aggregate of living entities. Again, bhuta, bhutva, that means they take birth. But again, praliyate happens in the Ratri. Agame, when the night comes, again everything is annihilated. Avashaha, helplessly, avashaha, prabhavanti. Then again in the next day, all come up. When in the night comes, praliyate, everything is annihilated. Okay. Anshul Prabhu, after a long time you joined. So your
जी माता जी.
this section of your attendance, what to do with it? So much absent, attendance also has to be marked.
जी माता जी.
Read
19.
18th and 19th.
Okay. अव्यक्तादौ व्यक्तयः सर्वा प्रभन् हरागमे रात्रागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्र वाक्य व्यक्त संज्ञके. At the beginning of the Brahma's day, all the living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. 19. भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्रागमेशवशः पार्थ प्रभवक्त हरागमे. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Purport. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they no longer have bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. They are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. During the day, they become manifest, and at night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they are captivated by the spell of material world. But those intelligent persons who take to the Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus, they transfer themselves even in this life to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Hare Krishna.
परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तान् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. This all happens in this Brahmaloka again, Purarapi Jananam, Purarapi Maranam, manifest and manifest. But Lord says, Parastasmat, there is Parastasmat. There. Para means there is something which is transcendental. There is another nature which is transcendental. And this is eternal. It is transcendental to Vyakta, Avyaktaha, both. It is Avyaktaha, it is transcendental to this Avyaktaha matter. And what it is eternal. It is unmanifest to the unmanifest. Even an unmanifest thing cannot understand that unmanifest one. Then, Yahasa Sarveshu Bhuteshu. When everything is Nashyatsu, when everything is annihilated, this thing, na vinashyati, never can be annihilated. In Brahmaloka, when Brahma's night comes, everything is annihilated, but there is some superior nature which is eternal, which is unmanifest even to the unmanifest, which is not known to everyone, and that is never destroyed. Avyaktokshara ityuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So for the Vedantis, it is something which is unmanifested, which is infallible, and which they think that is a supreme destination. Actually, that place is, after attaining that place, a person doesn't have to come back again. And that is my abode, Krishna very clearly says. What is that unmanifest nature which is unmanifest, which is even unmanifest to the unmanifest thing, which is eternal, That is Krishna's abode. For Vedantis, they call it as unmanifest, they call it as infallible, supreme destination, all those things, names they have given. And after that, after attaining that, one never comes back here. But then Krishna very clearly says that is my abode. Okay. So we'll read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, text number 20. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanah yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Text number 21. Avyaktokshara iti yuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Translation. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. Purport. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dham, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand, and there are cows known as Surabhi cows, which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kwanantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode Golok Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literatures like Katha Upanishad state that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. Purushanna param kinchit sa kashtha paramagatihi. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Golok Vrindavan, located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavana, comprising about 168 square miles in the district of Mathura, India. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We'll stop here. Any questions? Okay, we'll try to complete this chapter on Friday. No, not Friday, no. Monday.
Mataji, in this 18 verse, so actually, God is saying that, sense gratification is allowed for the services of Krishna. Because
What?
at the same time, we are detachment of all the sense gratification, and while serving Krishna, we are very fond of his Saundarya, Bhog, Krishna Bhog. So this is also sense gratification, no?
Yeah, but it is sense gratification for keeping us in center. One is keeping Krishna in center, gratifying the senses. That is real sense
Correct, correct.
gratification.
That is real sense. Correct, correct, correct.
Only foolish people think that sense gratification is looking at cinema and all. That doesn't give real pleasure. Real pleasure is looking at Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Yes, Sonal. The
Yes,
hands
yes,
are up. Sonal,
yes.
mute
Hare
yourself.
Krishna Mataji, I think in the 13th or 14th verse, it was said that one who reaches Golok Vrindavan doesn't come back in this world. So we are saying the Goswamis and Srila Prabhupada came back from Golok Vrindavan. So how do we understand this point, Mataji?
Akarana Janma. They come to uplift us. There is Akarana Janma. If they will not come, representatives will not come, then Yadaya Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharat. Abhittanam Dharmasya Tadatmanam Sriyam. I appear. And Krishna sometimes appear, Krishna senses representatives. So their birth is not like us. Their living is also not like us. That is how we can understand. Goswamis practically hardly slept. Hardly. They are completely absorbed. Prabhupada lifetime we can see. So they cannot be compared with the ordinary living entities. Right from the birth they are devotees. Right from the womb, in the womb itself. Okay. Any other doubt? Gaurang, any doubt? No doubt.
I have one doubt, Mataji. So, like, what is the reason we need to keep our life air at the top of our head for liberation?
What?
What is the reason we have to keep our life hair at the middle of our eyebrows and at the top of our head for liberation?
No. Pranavayus.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That is how to focus. This is having Agni Chakra. This has the Agni Chakra. And that is how you can focus the energy here. When you are focusing on the prana, it goes through different chakras, the Mooladhara chakras and all these things. It goes and comes till here. And this is the place where you can focus. If you focus it properly, then from here it goes. Randra. That much and all where devotees will focus. Chup chap, they'll chant. Because you'll sit for focusing, you'll be called, hey, come here. You have to do deity worship. Hey, Anupama, why don't you do flower seva? So then where? Randra, Bindra and all. Krishna knows from where to take. Better is chant the holy name and be happy. Okay. But you can try out also. When you're chanting also, if you can try out this, it will be nothing like that. While you're chanting, deep concentration, where you can see the Harinam practically moving in your body and practically focusing from your Agni Chakra. You do that, then you have a different experience. You can do also. That is known as complete focused attention. Okay. Hare Krishna. So anybody in the West, somebody is staying in America and all those things. I've started a new class. That is 5 to 6 p.m. No, sorry, 6 to 7 p.m., which is 4:30 morning in America, I think. Morning. If you all can, Gaurang, if you can ask your parents to circulate that, I'll be putting in the group. Somebody wants to join once in a week, it is 6 to 7 p.m. is the timing. I think that is very early morning in America. I don't know where you are staying. You are staying in America? So you can ask your parents to circulate this message. But there are one or two devotees from America also who have joined. Actually, I started this class for the Bangkok people because for them it is evening, 7:30. From early morning it is 4:30 in America. Somebody wants to join once in a week, I'll just put that message. Okay then? Hare Krishna.